Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would talk about duplication in planners and how to prevent it. I know what it's like when there's 10 million different amazing planners out there and you want them all, and it's very easy to have loads of different planners for loads of different reasons, and before you know it you've written the same thing 3 times. And I'm here to kind of give you a few tips around how to avoid that whilst still also being able to, set up various planners for different reasons if that's what you really want. Obviously, if that's not what you really want, then maybe go and have a look at one of my videos around how to choose a planner and get down to one. But if, like me, you have a few different planners on the go, I currently have 3. Here's my kind of main tips around how to avoid overwriting everything, or rather rewriting everything several times, and really keep it to just the information you actually need to know in every planner. Okay, so first up we're going to talk about the reasons for each of your planner. So this is a really important and key one around ensuring that you're really 100% clear on the different uses of your planners. So to give you an idea of what I mean by that, so these are kind of my 3 planners that I use. Basically, I'm not going to say necessarily every day, but I am going to say every week. These are my regular use planners. So this is my bullet journal, it's my everyday carry. So it just kind of goes in my bag, purse, whatever I've got with me, and it's just so that I know what's going on in the future. So if someone wants to book in some plans, or something is going on with work and I need to check to make sure that I can go to a meeting in London or something, I will refer to the plans in this. I then will also maybe have shopping lists. If I'm going into town and know that I need to buy a few bits and pieces, I'll use this, but this is all the information really that I kind of keep in here. This is my main planner, so everything goes in here, all of my plans, all of my tasks, all of my finance planning, everything goes in here. And then this is my Hobonichi cousin, where I'd say that this probably is more of a journal kind of memory keeping type thing. So this is more of a fun planner, I guess is probably how you'd say it. So yeah, I'll kind of put a bit of journaling and things like that in there. I'll also use this as a commonplace book. So any notes, any kind of brainstorms about shop ideas or video ideas, they all go in here. Now, the reason why this is important for this kind of first step around reducing duplication is because I have a clear kind of idea around what goes in each planner. That helps me be really clear about then stopping myself from, having that duplication that isn't needed. So in here, for example, I won't need to put birthdays in here unless there is an event around it, like a party or something. So to write a birthday in here, it's unnecessary duplication, because it's not what this is for. This is for plans and things that I need to know where I need to be, or so I don't double book myself. Whereas in here, I'll have both events and birthdays, because I need to know the birthdays for maybe buying presents or whatever, but then I also obviously need to know the events because it's in there. This probably won't need to have birthdays or events, only if I want to do a bit of journaling about it, or a bit of memory keeping or something like that, but it's not a necessity. Hopefully that kind of makes sense in terms of having that clarity, because if you know what should be in each planner, then you won't get as caught up in, oh, I need to set up my month in exactly the same way in every planner. Well, no, you don't need to. You only need to set it up for the things that are actually relevant for this planner's use, basically. So following on from knowing the purpose of each of your planners, we kind of follow neatly on to realizing or working out what impacts more than one planner, and that will help you kind of just add that extra level of clarity around what actually needs to go in more than one. So if you have a more kind of simple setup than me, and you basically just have a home and a work planner, just take the time to kind of organize for yourself what impacts both areas of your life, and therefore what does need to be duplicated. And it's the same if you've got, say, a normal planner and maybe a health and fitness planner. Just work out for yourself what will impact on that. So, if you're going on holiday, you're obviously not going to be able to keep to probably your health and fitness plans as much as you would. Therefore, it will need to go in both your kind of normal planner and your health and fitness. Or if you've got a work planner and you've got a work trip, that needs to go in both, because you're going to need to kind of know that you're going to be away, so you don't kind of book any kind of life stuff or, meals out or whatever. Just have that kind of, it doesn't have to necessarily be written down unless you want to, but just have have that time to work out for yourself, okay, what things could I write in planners that might need to go in more than one planner. And almost if you set up those guidelines for yourself, then that should help, you know, reduce down that in the moment thing of, oh, I've written it in this planner and I also need to write it in this and this, otherwise I don't feel like I'm organized. Well, actually no. Is it something that you've already said, yeah, I do need to have in every planner? Or is it something that you've kind of gone, no, it only needs to live in the EDC because actually it's only relevant when I'm out and about, which is maybe a shopping list for the supermarket or something like that. You don't need it in two places, because if that's not going to come to the supermarket with you, what's the point? That is, leave it in there and only write it in there. The next one is more of a helpful reminder more than anything, and that's to not get carried away with all your planners and all your planning unless you want to and you have the time to dedicate to it. So what do I mean by that? This is actually the same week in two different planners. As you can see, I have duplicated a fair amount. That's because I basically use this for a bit of memory keeping, a bit of creativity time. I just spend, you know, half an hour on a Sunday when I've got some free time and make the cousin look nice and pretty, using this as kind of a, what did I do for the week? I don't need this planner. I need this planner, but I don't need the weekly pages in here. But sometimes I will just set up the week kind of once it's been and gone and do it as a bit of a memory keeping spread. That is my choice. It's what I want to do. Some weeks I don't do it, so there are quite a lot of blank pages when you flick through, but that's something that I am choosing to do. But particularly when you first get into planners, it is very easy just to have lots of different planners that you want to use, and before you know it, you're doing the same week in 2 or 3 different planners. I've definitely been there myself. And this is just a bit of a reminder that you don't need to do that. If you know, want to do it, like say, as like a bit of a creative outlet or memory keeping or something like that, fair enough. But remember, the planner is supposed to be a productivity system. It's supposed to keep you on track. It's to, you know, keep you knowing where you need to be and when, what tasks you need to do and when, and don't let the millions of different pretty planners distract you from that to the point that you end up spending too much time in your planners and not enough time actually doing things. And I say this from experience because I've definitely had 3 or 4 different planners all set up at once, and then I end up with, you know, different weeks in different places, and then I have to duplicate it. And that's kind of a good time to talk about empty planners or white pages. So this is kind of another related tip of, don't worry about blank pages. So I know a lot of people will kind of hop from one planner to the other and then go, actually, because I haven't been using this year, I've got loads of blank pages, I want to go back in and fill it in so that I've got something to kind of flip through at the end of the year that kind of shows all of my year. Obviously, if you've got the time to do that and you want to do that, fair enough, but white pages are okay. If you decide that a planner isn't for you halfway through the year and you switch through, that's absolutely fine. You can have more than one. You don't need to go back through and effectively back plan all of it. And that is where a lot of the duplication comes, because some people, you know, they don't know which planner they want to be in long term, so they write in both so that when they do eventually make a call, they haven't got any blank pages. That's never really been a big thing for me. I'm sure if you've seen any of my flips of planners in the past, you'll have seen lots of empty pages and lots of blank pages, because I don't have time for that. I know I don't. Sometimes I might go in and, you know, do something like this, but it's not about, you know, reducing the number of blank pages. It's more I want something creative to do, and I don't necessarily want to get my watercolors out or anything like that. I just want to play with stickers. Fine, brilliant. But I won't go through and make sure that every single page has something on it, because it's just not me. I'm not about that. That then leads really nicely onto, if you are finding that you're doing a lot of rewriting of things and a lot of duplication that you can't really keep up with, it's probably a good indicator that you need to sit down and kind of review your planner setup and make sure that actually it is the right one. Because if you are rewriting loads of stuff in 2 or 3 different planners, that suggests that how you've got your planner set up, they're not doing it for you in terms of what they need to do. So a really good example would be if you've got something like this as an EDC, you know, bullet journal, and you just find that you're actually kind of setting up your weeks in this as well as in maybe your main home planner, and you've basically got 2 planners with the same stuff. I would say you probably only need 1 planner and make it an EDC and an everything planner. And you will then maybe need to go and find something that gives you a bit more space. So it might not be either of these. There might be a meet in the middle that gives you the space of your main planner but has the portability. It might be, you know, an A6 Avec where it's a bit thinner, it's a bit smaller, but it has, you know, everything set up. Whatever it might be, just if you are finding that you're rewriting a load of stuff between planners, it's probably a bit of an indicator, unless you're doing it by choice, and unless, you know, like me, you're a bit crazy and like to do some memory planning or playing with stickers. Unless you are kind of doing it by choice, then there's probably something that says it's not the right setup for you and you need to change things up. So another really good example is, so someone actually commented on my one of my videos around they didn't like having two separate planners, so they merged their work into their kind of main planner, and they did it in a cousin, but they were finding that lugging it around was a bit too much. But that might be something that actually might work for you. So if you've got a separate work planner and a separate home planner, and then you realise that actually keeping information across two, because you might travel a lot for work and therefore you're having to rewrite a lot in your home planner and then rewrite a lot in your work planner to make sure that you're not, you know, clashing anything, actually moving everything into something larger like a cousin that can house everything, even if it's something around, you know, you use your weekly pages for home, you use your daily pages for work, something like that. That might be a better solution than having a separate home and work planner and rewriting loads of stuff. Just a bit of a thought. It may or may not work for you, but I did want to mention that actually sometimes duplication does just give you an indication that you need to change things up a bit with your planner setup. And that's everything around kind of duplication. Hopefully this was helpful. If you've got any tips around how to reduce plan duplication, or anything you've done, or around kind of how you've changed up planners because of duplication, let me know in the comments. I'd love to read about it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.